Hey there, everyone. So, today I was originally going to post the first part of the next new Tales of Harry Potter, which is the one that's based on Secret of Source Rock. Or at least now I admit that that series is just spoofing The Land Before Time up. Considering it's just taking the stories and nothing else. But then, when it came across my mind, I decided I actually wanted to talk about Backyardigans again. And that's kind of weird because there's really not much to talk about the series, except for all the imagination. But one thing that has been crossing my mind is that I should state the opinions on all the Backyardigans episodes that I own on DVD. So that's pretty much a bit of the season 1 episodes. I only own 3 episodes that are from a later season. Which, those ones are Robot Rampage, Catch That Train, and 50-Foot Wormin. So, we'll obviously start the ranking, and so let's start. First of all, I own that weird Polka band Western one. Now, I already could tell from remembering it that it's a pretty decent episode. It's a Tyrone heavy episode, and that guy is a very good character. But is it just me, or is he actually voiced by an adult, while everyone else is a kid? That's actually an attribute that's on Petrie from The Land Before Time. Petrie is voiced by a kid, but the rest of the main cast... Petrie is voiced by an adult, but all the rest of the main cast are voiced by kids. Is it just me? Is it just me that Tyrone has that feel? Just me? Is it actually true? So, this is one of those episodes with the worm creatures in them. Now, the whole premise of this episode is Tyrone has to gather her gang of her people with musical instruments, and so they can play polka at another worm's birthday party. Now, this is a very bad concept for an episode, but I still really like it. Like the idea of writing the episode in this way, especially since Uniqua is Squidward in this episode because she has a clarinet. Though, unlike Squidward, Uniqua is actually good at playing the thing. Obviously. Because you think kids watching the show haven't also watched SpongeBob. They just see Uniqua with her clarinet and are like, this reminds me of Squidward! Squidward! I tried. I actually did think this as a kid, too. I just heard the word clarinet, and I just couldn't stop thinking of Squidward tentacles for the rest of the episode. Wait, that's not actually what happened. Actually, I I was watching Backyardigans before SpongeBob, and when I saw a few SpongeBob episodes afterward, I thought it was ironic that Squidward had a clarinet.
We're with the pet hospital down the street, and I understand you have a dying animal on the premises.
It's funny. Especially the song that Uniqua sings about her clarinet. But it's a very bad song, truthfully. But whatever. I give this his party music episode a 5 out of 10. Now, next is literally one about having a tea party. That's the whole concept in the episode. They're preparing for a tea party. This is seriously me when I first found out that concept.
Boring!
And basically, the whole concept of the episode is that they're not preparing for a normal tea party. They're preparing for said perfect cup of tea. There's no such thing as perfect. You can't trick me, but apparently you tricked me as a kid because young me apparently liked this episode. But I at least give the episode a 3 out of 10, because of the funny joke that Uniqua tells to Austin. Orange, you glad I didn't say banana? But other than that, there's literally nothing else to say about the episode. It's just a simple concept that has simple ideas on what to do, even though the From Tree to Tree song is very good. Now, now for Heart of the Jungle. It's another Wormin episode, and it's a Uniqua heavy episode. And the concept is good, but I still give it a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna get so much laugh for this reason. The reason it's only 7 out of 10 is because it contains Quicksand. Yeah, if you're a long-time fan of this channel, you know that I hate Quicksand. But I don't just dislike it. I'm afraid of it. And basically, Dramarama knows this because they added a bit of Quicksand escaping a few of their episodes. Seriously, if there's any movie or any episode of a TV show that contains Quicksand, it just ruins the whole movie or episode for me. As why I would he put The Land Before Time 2 below Wisdom of Friends as the worst movie. Because there was Quicksand and then the second movie, and my dad watched it, and he didn't tell me! He knows it's my fear, so why didn't he tell me? But the thing that triggers me the most about this episode in this Backyardigans episode in Quicksand is that Backyardigans episode was the first time I heard the term. Therefore, that giving me a little chill in my spine. And when I finally found out what the term meant. Luckily as a kid and an adult, it still doesn't change the fact the story is interesting and good. Especially for the fact the fact that, oh boy, Uniqua is being the brave one. Therefore, 7 out of 10 with the episode with Quicksand in it. You know, another future, her older season episode, did also contain Quicksand, but that actually triggered my, that is what actually triggered my fear. And that's bad. Therefore, from then on, I only trusted episodes of Backyardigans that I actually owned. Because that said future episode was an episode that I didn't own on DVD. So, the fourth episode, which is one about literal Vikings.
Are you the one they call SpongeBob? I think so. Well, we are here to teach you all about the Viking.
This is not a very character-heavy episode, but if you think about it, it's a Tasha basic episode, even though she's a mermaid in this imagination world. And it shows us that something that the Little Mermaid didn't show us. It's that mermaids are really tough people. She even has a musical number about it. And this Viking episode is decent, 5 out of 10. And then there is a Caveman episode that takes place in a snowy era. Also, apparently, they're wolves, because the whole concept of the episode is that a bunch of two mountain cave people, as in Tasha and Austin, invite the valley cave people, aka Uniqua, Tyrone, and Pablo, to come to their mountain and howl at the moon together. But there's a rule that you have to do it when once the moon is high in the sky. Well, guess what, cavemen and werewolves can do it whenever the hell they want. Then again, anybody can howl at the moon. Monkeys could do it. Things are really weird in this episode because they have, even though it's cave times, they have real man-made objects like ice skates. Though they say they just invented them. A funny gag in the episode is that they keep trying to name them stupid stuff. Like Austin almost named the invitation a turtle.
Mommy, look, a turtle! Hello!
Also, the fact that this Caveman episode is pretty decent, especially for its songs. Like Tasha and Austin have a drumming melody, and there's also an ice skating song from Uniqua, Tyrone, and Pablo. So therefore, for the decentness in this episode, 10 out of 10. Now the next one is one of my favorite old episodes. It's the same episode that the Backyardigans YTP Collab 2 was out of. when watching the Backyardigans YTP collab too, I was very shocked to find out the episode they were YouTube pooping was Race Around the World, because I actually did own it. And yeah, I actually do own it. I mean the episode. The whole concept is that Austin has never won a race and he wants to. Now this is an episode that is awesome. All I can say about how Race Around the World is that it's just so cool. It even has a cool "Go, Go, Go" song. In fact, the finale of my fan version of Total Drama Action that was based on SpongeBob Lights, Camera, Pants, and was actually a little based on Race Around the World. Because we have one character that's good at something, and the other character that's good at another, and the last character who's good at the other, and all three of them are bad at the last one. And there was at least one friend there to help them. Therefore, 10 out of 10 with the foot race. I love it. Especially since that they were in a desert and Quicksand was nowhere to be found. Because if it was, then it would totally ruin the whole episode for me. One cool thing you can say about the racing episode is that, well, we never noticed there was a foot racetrack right in their front yard. The one that I watched after that one, though, it's slipping my mind. I'll seriously I just have to look at the DVD to find out what it is. And then once I do, my memories of watching it will flow right back in my head. But if they don't, I promise I'll go watch it. I'll watch it the next time I'm alone at my grandpa's house. So then we have one on about how castaways work in the world. Basically, this is an Austin-heavy episode because what he does for Uniqua, Tyrone, and Pablo to help them survive is nice, but Austin doesn't admit he's the one who's helping because he's shy.
I'm sorry, what was that? Didn't quite catch that.
Therefore, Tyrone, Pablo, and Uniqua are confused on who's helping them out. When they don't hear Austin in the background, and at one point they actually do acknowledge it by singing a cute little melody called "Who's There?" And because of how cute this episode is, 10 out of 10. Now, Robot Rampage is the one I explained in detail in my previous video. An obvious 10 out of 10. Next is an episode I did mention in that previous video. Catch that train! All I can say about this episode is the whole concept of the episode is that Uniqua is a train engineer, and he has to ride the king. The king's actually Tyrone, and his servant Pablo, to another train station. But in the process, Tyrone is the only one that actually gets on the train. And Uniqua accidentally presses the lever that starts the train, because apparently the train has a mind of its own. And Tyrone doesn't know anything about this because he's sleeping throughout the whole episode. They even use the sleeping part as a plot point by making him sleepwalk on top of the train. Oh my gosh, he's gonna die! Uniqua and Pablo see him up there and be like,
Well, we failed. Don't look, honey.
and they even sing a song about how you shouldn't sleepwalk on a moving train, especially if there's no driver driving it! Basically, the whole point of the episode is that they have to catch the train and stop Tyrone from dying. Because guess what? People do that! And at the end of the episode, Tyrone walks out of the train and moves on like nothing happened. 9 out of 10. Now, the last episode we're going to be mentioning in this, it's about a gigantic worm. Basically, it's another worm episode, as you could tell, and it's an episode where Pablo accidentally pours a grow formula onto the worm, and he starts continuously growing and growing. And Pablo has to make a shrinking formula to stop everything, but he keeps failing in stuff that just rhymes with shrink. Mostly pink and stink. But it would have been funny to see the worm just turn into a sink. Also, the whole episode, the episode early on mentions that the worms like popcorn.
Does nobody talk about half-popped popcorn kernels? They're just as good as the full-popped ones. After you've consumed 97% of your popcorn, you get to the kernels at the bottom, and instead of throwing them all away, you should crunch on the ones that are semi-popped. Heck!
So that means that the worms are actually not missing out on some of the best things in life. Oh, and did you know that blue plus orange equals brown? And let's just say the whole concept of this regular episode is that it's literally just us the lesson of don't use animals as your guinea pigs for science. Because if you do, they'll just turn into Godzilla. A pink, stinky, and a clumsy Godzilla. Whatever, this episode is 10 out of 10. So there, hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe, and don't worry, this whole channel is just not gonna become Backyardigans related. It's just gonna be a cute little thing that'll say exists on my channel, and I'll just reference it every once in a while. Now, see you later.